These are some Texas Hots Mom and I got from Texas Hots after, I believe it was around 4 in the afternoon, and we got home around 6:30 p.m. I fell asleep on the way home. It's about a 2-hour drive from here to Darla's house, where Mom's side of the family threw an early birthday celebration for Mom. Yeah, this is the cake they had made. Presumably they had the cake made and delivered from a different place from where they got the pizza. And the chicken wings. I finished the Willow Inn / karaoke themed round styrofoam disc drawing around 3:30 in the morning. And that was around the time I turned off the TV and light in the living room of his apartment unit for him. I accidentally woke him up. He went back to bed on the living room couch. And I went to bed shortly thereafter. And I recall waking up sometime around roughly 8 in the morning. Actually, now that I think about it some more, I think it was actually around 9 in the morning that I got up and I had the leftover homemade chili that Dad made about half an hour later. From roughly that point to about, I would say, 10:40 in the morning, I got ready for Mom coming to Dad's apartment unit to pick me up by packing that ultimate collection of Sharpie markers she got me for Christmas. And by this point, the cardboard dividers within the collection had deteriorated considerably, but they were still able to keep the Sharpie markers in place. Which is an ability they lost on the car ride back home when I fell asleep. I packed this laptop, my headphones, and both the charger to my laptop and my phone within my computer case / bag. Around that time, I also had some coffee, some apple cider vinegar with water mixed in. But before that, I had water with zinc mixed in, and before that, I had water with, to the best attempt, olive oil mixed in. I got this desert watchtower when I got back from the mom's birthday party event at Darla's place. Got it from this mini game. Here's roughly where I was when I got this, which I figured would be something better than the armory, the roughly level 3 armory that was there previously. Making the switch gave me plenty of population and building that produces drone riders. I'm not even sure if I've unlocked that unit yet through the research tree. And all it cost me was losing 17 off my maximum training size. So, not a big sacrifice. At some point during the day, this ancient wonder finished being built. I believe it was around the morning period when I was getting ready for Mom to pick me up and drive me to Darla's place. She buzzed in. Actually, wait, she didn't buzz in. Instead, she called me again when she parked at the parking lot near Dad's apartment unit. It was a surprisingly warm day for early March. A day that's technically still winter because the spring equinox is on the 21st or 23rd. I think I recall hearing, at least somewhere. At least during the car ride to Darla's house, it averaged 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It was a roughly 2-hour drive, but I passed the time by chatting with my mom and basically just starting a new styrofoam drawing. I only drew the outline for the head and the hair on that head because Well, let's just say that trying to draw on styrofoam while you're a passenger in a car I've been told that I have a steady hand before, but doing that is really a test of how steady my hands really are, and I said as such at one point. So I didn't really want to work on a new styrofoam very much. And I decided in that moment, most likely, the intent is going to be a Hispanic male. Mom and I talked about our genealogy, which essentially is about where various family members came from. Mom talked about her memories. I think I talked about mine to an extent. She talked about her hometown, which is pretty close to where Darla is. And later on, the discussions became political. And even though our views vary considerably, we had some good discussions toward the end of the drive to Darla's place. By the time we arrived, I think it was a bit cloudy. There were various points in which it rained today. One of which was when, after the party, we made a stop to get the Texas Hots. And the chips was not something we got from Texas Hots. Rather, it's something we got from the Willow in the other day. I believe it came with a sandwich one of us got. Bella the dog, the female dog, got real excited and jumped at me like a lot of dogs do whenever you arrive, whenever a new person arrives at their home. Later attempts to interact with Bella weren't as successful. She kind of ignored me, but there was a point in which I gave a somewhat sizable crumb from the fried chicken. We had a pizza that was technically all pepperoni, but one half was just pepperoni, while I think the other half also had mushrooms and peppers. It was having to fill the rune circle for the Golden Abyss to upgrade from level 9 to level 10. That allowed me to get the broken shards needed to forge the remaining runes needed to fill the circle for Enar's embassy. And ultimately get to add this ancient wonder. I could only really think to place this ancient wonder here. And when I did, I think it was technically last night, right before I went to bed, it just barely fit here. As for the fried chicken, they were shaped like chicken wings, and it didn't come with any sauce, but they were still delicious. I myself personally got pepperoni only square pieces. The first round was just pizza, and then the second round was some more pizza and the fried chicken wings. And then later on came the cake. I believe they said this is some kind of marble cake, but it doesn't look like much like a marble cake to me. Either way, the cake ended up being pleasantly wet compared to non-ice cream cake I've had in the past. I have memories of it previously being pretty dry and overly sugary for me. Essentially, it's a twist cake. Half vanilla on one side, and chocolate on the other side. I had a vanilla piece, and a chocolate piece. Excuse me. For beverages, I mostly stick to a glass of water with crushed ice in it. I got both the water and the crushed ice from a one of those self-serve water and ice machines that are installed in connection to the freezer of some refrigerators. After the cake, it was time for Mom to open presents. Her sister Tammy, if I recall correctly, made Mom a homemade card. At least it seemed pretty homemade to me. With a handwritten message, which was pretty special because Tammy is legally blind. And so when Mom read that card, she came pretty close to crying tears of joy. As I have in the past when watching certain YouTube videos. Then she got to the wrapped styrofoam drawing I made for her. Hers was the larger of the wrapped styrofoam drawings because not only did I stay up until the middle of the night making a styrofoam drawing birthday gift for my mom, but as I already had given wreaths to Dad's parents, I think it was a suggestion by my dad that he made in the morning, but I decided to give the Valentine's Day themed wreath to Mom's mom. Although we made a trip to her place to pick her up from her home. In order to transport her to Darla's place. Grandma's place was a relatively short drive away from Darla's place. Maybe about 15 minutes. A 15-minute drive, if I recall correctly. Mom really enjoyed the Willow Inn on the front. We Sing for Fun / We Heart karaoke on the back styrofoam drawing I made for her. And if I recall correctly, Grandma cried when she saw the Valentine's Day themed wreath I made. Well, I decided to give to her. After that, the party was over after Mom opened some clothes that Darla gave to her as presents. Shortly after the end of the birthday party, before we opened the presents, we sang happy birthday to Mom, including saying her name. While singing, and after the party, I think we stayed for about half an hour or so at Darla's place. That period was a pretty tired period for me, but I didn't fall asleep. Right after the end of the present opening, and by extension the birthday party, I had a considerable sneezing fit. That resulted in snot coming out. It has some kind of allergies. It couldn't really be the dog, though, since I interacted with her. Since she got all excited whenever someone new came in. Even more so than when the food came out at the dining room table. The dining room table is always near the kitchen, or at least a majority of the time it is, but it's not part of the kitchen itself. The kitchen is the area of a house in which you prepare food. The dining room table is the area of a house in which you eat food. Traditionally, I'm pretty sure most people have at least one moment where they ate in bed or in the bathroom, or in their car, or in the living room. I felt pretty tired. And by the time Mom and I got in her car to head back home. Again, I think it was around 4 to 4:30 in the afternoon when this happened, and we got home around 6 to 6:30. I fell asleep around, I think it was 4:45 in the afternoon. And I think I woke up around 6:20 p.m., by which point we were pretty much heading into our home city. Through which we would get to our hometown. Ever since getting back home, I've been watching YouTube videos and playing the Congregate game Sword Fight. Although there was a point in which I had the leftover large Wendy's chili, I didn't microwave it since you're not supposed to microwave the container it comes in, even though it's mostly cardboard. And so I ate it out of the original container cold since I didn't want to dirty a dish, dirty a bowl, and thus use up resources having to wash it in order to basically do what I had to do in order to safely drink bottled water with some magnesium supplement mixed in, some droplets mixed in.